Tonight's contestants are John Lyle, age 33, a lecturer in physical education from Bowness, West Lothian. Paul Robson is 20. He's unemployed and comes from Paynton in Devon. Brian Thompson is 28, a finance manager from Ballymena, County Antrim. And Pat Everett, age 21. He's a student from Boston, Lincolnshire.
Good evening and welcome to the Krypton Factor, where we've reached the last of our 4 semi-finals. The other 3 had all the tension and excitement we could have hoped for, and I'm sure tonight's will be no different. And the eventual winner this evening will, of course, take the remaining place in next week's final, and he'll have the chance of becoming the United Kingdom Superperson of 1984. But at this point, I would simply like to wish all our semi-finalists the very best of luck and ask them to prepare now for round 1 mental agility. And tonight's neighbourhood game involves coloured letters. The contestants will study a word made up of different coloured letters. They will then be shown another longer word, which will not only contain all the letters in the previous word, but they will retain their colours too. The contestants will be asked questions relating to the different positioning. Right, stand by, contestants. Paul, Brian and Pat, will you keep looking to the front, please? But John, would you turn to your screen? In the previous word, what was the letter, 2 to the left of the letter, 3 to the right of the letter, coloured red?
E.
Correct, and 3 points to you. Now, Paul, would you turn and face your screen, please? In the previous word, what colour was the letter, 1 to the right of the letter, 3 to the left of the letter, S?
Green.
Correct, and 3 points to you. Brian, would you please turn to your screen? In the previous word, what was the colour of the letter, 3 to the right of the letter, 1 to the left of the letter, coloured green?
Red.
No, it was purple. So, Pat, would you now turn and face your screen? In the previous word, what was the letter, 1 to the right of the letter, 3 to the left of the letter, coloured purple?
Grey.
No, I asked you for the letter, which in fact was A. So sorry about that, no points there. But on we go. It now gets tougher. There are 4 more questions of increased difficulty, worth the same points, 3. We start with you, John. Turn to your screen, please. In the previous word, what colour was the letter, 2 to the right of the letter, 3 to the left of the letter, 2 to the right of the letter, coloured purple?
Red.
No, it's close, but it was pink, but I can't give you the marks, I'm sorry. Paul, would you turn to your screen, please? In the previous word, what colour was the letter, 1 to the right of the letter, 3 to the left of the letter, 4 to the right of the letter, coloured green?
Blue.
No, it was purple. Sorry about that, but Brian, would you turn to your screen? In the previous word, what colour was the letter, 2 to the right of the letter, 4 to the left of the letter, 3 to the right of the letter, coloured green?
Red.
No, it was pink. Sorry about that. Pat, would you please turn to your screen? In the previous word, what colour was the letter, 3 to the left of the letter, 4 to the right of the letter, 5 to the left of the letter, coloured orange?
Green.
Is correct, and you get 3 points. Well done. Well, now there's one last question, the most difficult yet, and the contestants will compete to answer it on the buzzer. If anyone gives me a wrong answer, it will be open for another contestant to try, and the first one to give me the right answer will get 4 points. Right, contestants, will you please turn to your screens, ready on those buzzers. Here comes your test. In the previous word, which was the letter? 3 to the left of the letter, 2 to the right of the letter, 4 to the left of the letter, 6 to the right of the letter, coloured purple. Paul.
Yellow.
Wrong. Pat.
T.
Correct, and 4 points to you. Well, I don't know about you, but I thought that was one of the toughest yet, and we shall now enter the points 1 into the scoreboard. And with 1 round gone, we have a clear leader with a Krypton factor of 7, the student who lives in Boston, Lincolnshire, Pat Everett. Straight on we go into round 2, physical ability, and we really do have the perfect lineup for this evening's assault course battle, because all 4 of our contestants won over the 20 obstacles in their respective heats. And few will forget the electric performance by John Lyle in Heat 12, not to mention his near disaster on that scramble net. But having said that, Paul, Pat and Brian all recorded extremely fast times. So what a race in prospect as we go now to the start and join the Army Physical Training Corps Captain Alan Duxbury.
On your marks.
And it's Scotsman John Lyle who sets off first. He's the man to beat, as the other 3 younger men know only too well, forced to wait on the line because of the age handicap system, but Brian Thompson underway, and on the far side, Pat Everett, and nearest to us, Paul Robson, and everyone going at a tremendous pace right at the start. John Lyle off the high balance and shoots on into the vertical pipes, and it is Pat Everett in second place from Paul Robson and Brian Thompson, but not much in it between those 3. But there's John Lyle across into the net and already climbing. He's the best we've ever had on this assault course, and the other 3 know what they've got to do. They're going to give it everything they've got as they now swing over into that net, determined to cut down the gap on John Lyle right at the start. But John going tremendously at the moment, nicely over the double bar gate, coming to the scramble net, which gave him quite a lot of trouble, of course, in Heat 12. So how will John Lyle cope with the scramble net? He fell right from the top to the bottom of it in that heat, you may remember, but not so this time. Changes his technique, but Pat Everett just goes head over heels on the double bar gate, but he's all right. John Lyle beautifully into the water. This is the moment where really you should be so tired that these water jumps give you a problem, but not so for John Lyle. Good technique here also from Pat Everett on the far side, from Paul Robson and from Brian Thompson as they give chase. But John Lyle has kept that lead. He comes down the aerial slide now, right out in front. But great style there from Pat Everett and a lovely jump as well. But here's John Lyle, the Scotsman, just pulling that net over his shoulder. He's got the finishing line inside. It's been a tremendous run by him, a very fast time indeed. And he sprints over the line for a great, great performance from John Lyle. Now who's going to be in second place? It is Pat Everett on the far side, but Paul Robson right there with him. He's in with a chance of getting second place. He's just a few feet behind Pat Everett here, who has to jump back in. He went off his lane, but he's back in again under that net, just holding off Paul Robson, with Brian Thompson back in 4th place, though he's not far behind them either. But Pat Everett, the student from Bangor University, comes across the line. He gets second place, and that leaves Paul Robson in 3rd. But excellent stuff. Well, all 4 of them were just tremendous out there. That's one of the best races I can remember for a long, long time. And we shall now enter the points 1 into the scoreboard. And after 2 rounds, well, there's an interesting situation. 2 contestants are sharing the lead. From Bowness, West Lothian, it's John Lyle, and the student from Lincolnshire, Pat Everett. So the battle is well and truly on as we reach round 3, the intelligence test, and another taxing problem for the contestants to solve. With that, contestants, can I ask you to step down to your benches, please, and I'll explain what's in store. In front of you is a construction with a reservoir at the top and another at the bottom containing coloured liquid. Your task is to float a table tennis ball from the bottom left to the top right by raising or lowering the liquid levels in the various columns. Right, are you all ready, contestants? The test starts now. Well, let me explain the mechanism first. You'll see 5 taps across the top of each column. Now you use those to fill the respective columns, and at the bottom are 5 more taps which you can use to empty each column. The water is then taken back up to the top tank with the help of an electric pump. Now the first task for the contestants is to establish the best route to take the ball across the 5 columns from bottom left to top right. Now, if you look closely, you'll see between those arrow shapes that some routes across are blocked by a white line. So, having established your route, you use the respective taps to raise the ball to a particular level and drop it into the next column. This is Paul Robson just about to do that, to try and drop it into the V shape and on into the next column. In fact, there are two ways to get that ball across. You can actually raise the water level well above the V and then lower it to drop the ball in, or simply raise the level just enough for it to drop over. And then, of course, you have to adjust the level in the other column accordingly. It's Brian Thompson from Northern Ireland, just trying to get it into that last column. It's quite a skilled operation to work the levels right. This is Pat Everett. Now, has he got enough water there to raise the ball and drop it over? It's just up. Will it go over? Yes! So, Pat Everett, the student who lives in Boston, Lincolnshire, wins this round. He did that very well indeed. So, Pat Everett wins. Who will be second? This is Brian Thompson. Has he got enough water? You need to empty the columns you've already completed to get the water back up into the top tank to give you enough to get this ball over, and he's done it. Ballerina's Brian Thompson gets second place. And now the battle for third. Will it be Paul Robson here, or will it be the Scotsman John Lyle? This is John Lyle. It looks like he's going to get there. Yes! Great stuff there, and the contestant who floated to the top and gets the full 10 points was Pat Everett, the graduate of Bangor University. In second place was Ulsterman from Ballymena, Brian Thompson, who gets 6 points. Then in third place was the Scotsman John Lyle, and he gets 4 points. And fourth was Paul Robson from South Devon, who gets 2 points. We shall now enter all those into the scoreboard. 2 rounds to go, don't forget. And now clear in the lead with a Krypton factor of 23 is the student who comes from Boston, Lincolnshire, Pat Everett. So on we go to the fourth of our 5 rounds, observation, the usual format, a film clip followed by questions and the identity parade. And tonight the extract comes from the film Merlin and the Sword. It involves an American tourist to Britain, played by Diane Cannon, who is suddenly whisked back in time to the Arthurian world of Sir Lancelot, Merlin, and the Holy Grail. Right, contestants, would you please turn now and face your screens and concentrate hard. Here comes your clip.
Now step lively, folks, or we'll miss the midwinter sunrise.
The average visitor to Stonehenge will in all likelihood have been taught that Stonehenge was built by the Druids. You can clear your mind of this statement, which is quite incorrect.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are in Stonehenge. Stonehenge is one of the largest megalithic monuments in all of Europe. Was it built as an astronomical observatory or possibly a place of human sacrifice? Now, some say that these great stones were once a tribe of Irish giants who made the gods angry and were struck by lightning and turned into stone.
That's right. Over in County Kildare.
And it was Merlin, the legendary magician of...
Merlin swept them up in a whirlwind and brought them from Ireland.
And set them up as a sun temple, a memorial to the Celtic warriors who died in battle with the Saxons.
Not Merlin, that crafty devil.
Ah!
Who are you?
Merlin, of course.
Of each column.
Arthur assembled the Knights of the Round Table and pledged his magical Excalibur not merely to the service of Britain, but to the endless struggle against evil.
We have won the battle. We are now at peace.
1,000 times 1,000 I have watched this. Each time it stirs my blood.
First of the season.
Where is he going?
To see Queen Guinevere.
My Lord King Palador is here, and we haven't enough accommodation in the castle, and the wine situation is getting...
That's all. Turn to the front, please, contestants. And here we go with some questions, 2 each, worth 2 points each. And now, yours, John. What was the name of the company that owned the coach that brought the tourists?
The travel company.
That is correct, and you get 2 points. The guide wondered if Stonehenge was built as an astronomical observatory or possibly what?
A burial ground for sacrifices.
Yeah, I'll take that, a place of human sacrifice. Fair enough, you got the word sacrifice. 2 points, you get the full 4. Well done. Now to you, Paul. What letter registration denoting the year did the coach have on its number plate? In other words, the last letter.
T.
Correct, and 2 points to you. How were the stones said to have been transported from Ireland to Stonehenge?
By a whirlwind.
Right, swept up in a whirlwind. Correct, 2 points. You too get the full 4. Well done. Now, Brian. Immediately after King Arthur proclaimed, "We are now at peace," he strode down from the throne and past the round table. There was a row of what against the wall?
For holding lighted candles.
No, there was a row of shields against the wall. Afraid I can't give you that. Merlin told us, it was his voice we could hear, he told us that he had watched that scene of victory celebration how many times?
5,000 years.
No, 1,000 times 1,000, he said. So I can't give you any there, I'm so afraid, Brian, but on we go to Pat. When King Arthur entered Lady Guinevere's room, what precisely was she doing?
Having her hair combed.
No, she was putting on perfume. When Guy told King Arthur that Pallador was staying at the castle, he mentioned 2 problems. One was the lack of accommodation at the castle. What was the other? Got to hurry you.
No, sorry.
It was the wine situation, so I'm afraid you failed to score there, Pat. But on we go with 4 more questions worth a point each. If a contestant gives me the wrong answer, well, then it's open for somebody else to try because they compete here on the buzzer. So stand by, contestants. Here we go. In which Irish county, Brian?
County Kildare.
Correct. When Lady Guinevere was putting on the perfume, what was on the table immediately, Pat?
Her book and some scrolls.
No, I was going to say immediately in front of her. Brian?
A mirror.
Wrong. Paul?
Fan.
Wrong. Do you want to have a go, John?
A bowl of something.
No, it's a good try by everybody. It was in fact a candle. How did the gods turn the giants into stone, according to some beliefs? John?
A thunderbolt.
That's absolutely right. I don't know whether that was a guess or not, but they were struck by lightning, so you get a point. How many ladies were attending Lady Brian?
3.
Correct. And on we go now to the identity parade, worth 2 more points to any contestant who can pick out someone in our lineup. And we want them to think back to the beginning of the film when that coach arrived with all the tourists. And the person we want the contestants to find is the tourist who is reading from the Stonehenge guidebook. Which one is she in this lineup of 9 tourists? Right, contestants, will you make your selections, please, now? And they've all made their selections, so let's have a look at them. Number 7 there is the choice of John Lyle. Paul Robson has gone for number 4. Brian Thompson has chosen number 1. And Pat Everett, completely different again, has gone for number 9. Well, 4 different choices. Let's find out who it really is as I ask the tourist who was in that film to make herself known to the contestants. Now, please. There she is, number 2 in our lineup, in real-life actress Pat Starr. So, no extra points to award there, but we shall enter all the points won in the first 2 sections of the round into the scoreboard. 1 round to go, don't forget. And, well, John Lyle, the Scotsman, has staged something of a recovery there. He's only 1 point behind now, but still in front with a Krypton factor of 23, the graduate of Bangor University, Pat Everett. And so we come to the fifth and final round, general knowledge. Which of our contestants will go through to next week's final, we'll know very shortly. We start off with the individual sets of 3 questions worth 2 points each. And here come yours, John. Which part of your body would be inflamed if you suffered from glossitis?
Your eyes.
No, your tongue. Which former newsreader, author of the autobiography Let's Get Through Wednesday, died in May, aged 51?
Reginald Bosanquet.
Correct, 2 points. Which squash player in 1983 became the first man to win the World Open Championship without dropping a game?
Can.
Correct. Jahangir Khan, 2 points, and you get 4 of the possible 6. And we move on now to Paul. How many pairs of ribs does the human body have?
13.
No, 12. Which duke who died in February lived at Badminton House and was the founder of the Badminton horse trials?
Duke of Avon.
No, the Duke of Beaufort. Who captained the New Zealand cricket team in the Test series early this year against England?
Jeff Howarth.
Correct. 2 points to the possible 6. Now to Brian. What is the largest gland of the human body?
Don't know.
Not going to guess. It is the liver. Which American film director whose work included Accident, The Servant, and The Go-Between died in London in June? The answer?
Don't know.
Joseph Losey. Which country won rugby's Triple Crown this year for the first time since 1938?
Scotland.
Correct. 2 points to the possible 6. And finally, to Pat. In which part of the body are the trapezoid, scaphoid, and capitate bones?
The shoulder.
No, the wrist or the hand. What was the name of the actress who played Ina Sharples in Coronation Street and died last Boxing Day?
Violet Carson.
Correct, 2 points. Who was the first gymnast to score a perfect maximum mark of 10 in Olympic competition, which she did in Montreal in 1976, following it up with 6 more perfect scores?
Nadia Comaneci.
Correct, 2 points, 4 of the possible 6 for you. And so, with only 1 point separating first and second, we reach the climax of this semi-final. 90 seconds of rapid-fire questions, 1 point for the right answer, a point deducted if a contestant gives me the wrong answer. Who'll go through to the final, we'll know in just a few seconds. Stand by, contestants. The clock starts now. Which military academy is the USA's equivalent of Sandhurst? John.
West Point.
Correct. Which city is the capital of West Germany? Pat.
Bonn.
Correct. In which James Bond film does much of the action take place in and around Fort Knox? Brian.
Goldfinger.
Correct. Who is the only heavyweight boxer to have won 3 Olympic gold medals? Paul.
Muhammad Ali.
Sorry?
Muhammad Ali.
No, Teofilo Stevenson. Whom did Steve Davis beat in the final of the 1984 Snooker World Championships? Paul.
Jimmy White.
Correct. Which poisonous gas is known as white damp and is present in the fumes of petrol engine exhausts? Pat.
Carbon monoxide.
Correct. If a person is called a monoglot, what does that mean? The answer is speaks only one language. Which official is the equivalent of the Speaker in the House of Lords? The answer is Lord Chancellor. Which Second World War traitor was nicknamed Lord Haw-Haw and was hanged for treason? Paul.
William Joyce.
Correct. With which athletics event do you connect the names of Joyce Smith, Hugh Jones, and old Pat?
The marathon.
Correct. Which army did the Greeks defeat in the Battle of Marathon in 490 Brian?
Spartans.
No, the Persians. Which famous author wrote The Door of Perception, Brave New World, and Antiquae? John.
Oh.
And by what name is Thomas Hicks, pop singer and actor who starred in Half a Sixpence, better known? John.
Tommy Steele.
Correct. Whom did David Steele succeed as Liberal Party leader in 1976? Paul.
Jeremy Thorpe.
Correct. And that's the end of the round in the contest. The winner tonight by just 1 point with a Krypton factor of 30 is the student Pat Everett. And yet another tremendous finish to a semi-final, and our warmest congratulations to Pat Everett, who goes on through to next week's Krypton Factor final. We commiserate with the others, particularly John Lyle, who came within 1 point of it. But who will be the United Kingdom superperson of 1984? You can find out by joining us next Monday at 7 o'clock. 3 men and 1 woman battling for that title. I'm sure it's going to be an absolutely tremendous contest. Don't miss it. See you next week. In the meantime, from all the contestants here and from myself, good night.